Yo, yo,
Morning. Yizzo, what's good
what's
with you?
happening, my
What's
guy?
good, man? What's good? Seeing you around for a long time. Seeing you around for
Hey,
a long
man,
time.
I'm a former fan of your content. So
I saw. You used to be in the comments, starting trouble with the women back in the day.
yeah, till I
Yeah.
found out that you were a diehard Trumper, and I was like, oh man, now I gotta debate him.
Okay. I see. All right, no problem, no problem.
But
So it,
let me start off by saying that I do respect the fact that you voice your opinion, even though I disagree with it. I
okay.
do also appreciate the fact that you will talk to people who disagree with you because there's not enough.
Hello? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm driving right now. I literally am on the way to the crib. I was just trying to see if I could make it there before you logged off. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, so no, I do appreciate your content generally, but there are a couple gripes I have with you. So I got some bones I gotta pick with you.
All right, let's go.
The the first one is when it comes to, I know you like to say everybody already hates Trump and they've heard all the negative things there are to hear about Trump, and that's why you don't, I guess, put out balanced content. Um, but I gotta say, man, I think that's kind of bullshit because you can easily have your opinions while still calling out bullshit when it happens on your side, on the side of your opinion. And I think that gives more credibility to your opinion than when you seemingly run away from criticizing your side the same way you criticize the other side. The second, and to be honest, that's probably the primary thing I take issue with, because some of the stuff that you say about the left and Kamala and all that other stuff, I don't entirely disagree with, but I have those very same criticisms of Trump and the right. And then when that gets brought up, it's kind of like, oh yeah, but we're not talking about that. And it's like, well, when are we going to talk about that? Why can't we ever talk about the corruption that happens on the side that you support? You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
and so having said that, I want to ask you a question about how you feel about this whole Elon Musk, I guess, introduction into American government. Because I'm almost certain
Mm-hmm.
that if Joe Biden had hired George Soros or Jack Dorsey into American government and put them in a position to actually have a say so, you guys would be calling corruption. So my question is, do you have that same criticism for Elon and Trump, or is it, you know, okay for y'all to do that, but just not okay for the other side to do that?
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
All right. So let me write that down because I forgot. Because I want to start with the first thing about the balance of the content.
Oh yeah, go ahead. You can answer that first. I can re-ask the other question afterwards.
Okay. All right. So when it comes to balance, basically, the first thing about it is I'm not the news. It's not my job to report both sides, right? If that was the case,
Right.
then because you says that gives lack of credibility. If that was the case, then the news would not be credible because they only give one side. What I'm doing particularly is pointing out the opposite things that the news doesn't point out. Like Glenn Greenwald said, he says, I know that my people already hate Trump. He specifically doesn't necessarily like Trump himself either. He says, but what I like to report on are the things that people don't know. Those are the things
Mm-hmm.
that are interesting to me. I like to debunk stuff. I like to uncover stuff.
Right.
And it's hard to, yeah, that's just fun to me. Hold it, it look like your screen froze.
It seems to have frozen, but I can
Oh,
still
you
hear
saw?
you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I like to debunk that stuff specifically because the thing that made me start speaking out about those things in the first place was because of the emotional chaos that it was putting people in around me that I actually care about and love.
Okay.
The fact that I knew one thing that had given me peace and they knew something that was disturbing them. So everything that I uncover is typically it's in my opinion, it's to cause a certain disruption that later brings peace. You trouble the waters, but then they eventually settle down again. And once they've settled down, that ripple effect, you can't undo that ripple. People can't,
Right.
you know how they say you can't unring a bell. You can't unsee the information that I present, even if you disagree with it, if you
Correct.
actually ingest it. So the thing that's frustrating to that for me is the fact that I put so much work into a video, and then as soon as I post it, but before there's even been time for someone to watch the entire video, because I always watch the entire video when I post it to make sure I didn't put something that's not supposed to be in there. And then I go to the comments and it says 3 minutes ago somebody's left a comment saying that the video is bullshit. It's like, why can't we ever talk about the actual topic at hand? We can get to the things that you dislike about Donald Trump, but first give me the respect of honoring the content I put so much hard work and effort into. We could there could
That's
be things
valid.
that
That's valid. I will say that some of the people in your comments are also nuts. They're just on the other side of nuts. They're lefty nuts. So I'm not saying that, like, that doesn't exist. There's plenty of that. I personally do not participate in that. When I watch your videos, I'm watching for the content. I'm not just watching to, call you Mr. Krusty Beard, even though I do, I say that. But I'm talking shit. But like ultimately, when it comes down to the conversation, I'm ready to have the conversation in regards to the facts.
Okay.
Going back to something that you did say just now, that you're not the news, so it's not your job to be balanced. I mean,
the news isn't balanced. That's not their job either, obviously. But
right, but if you watch, like, there's media on both sides, right? So there's leftist media, there's right-wing media.
Yeah.
So you can watch all of it and get a picture of everybody's narratives.
Yeah.
My issue with when you critique the leftist narratives, you're just doing the same thing for the right when you don't point out the criticisms of your own side. And so then it's like, it's hard for me to hear you and be like, okay, well, this dude is like giving a fair critique of something, when it gets turned around on you, you're like, well, I don't want to talk about that. It's like, okay, so you only want to talk about it when it's the side that you're against. And that's the only problem that I have with it, is that when you enter political discussion with that type of bias, and then you come from a critical perspective, how is anybody supposed to really listen to you? You sound like a hypocrite. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that you necessarily are one, but you sound like one when you don't want to engage with any type of criticism on your side.
Okay. If someone was to criticize, whenever someone asks me, like, what about Trump or whatever, they say, now do Trump, I say, what would you like to know about Trump that you do not know? They don't have an answer for that because they know everything. They've made their opinions. They want me to say.
I don't think that question is really like a fair response.
Let me go where I'm going with it. Let me go where I'm going with it. So I know that they don't have a response to that because they've known everything that they need to know. The thing that they don't know is the stuff that I'm showing them. Now, if there's something that they dislike about Trump that they want to ask me, how do I feel about it? We can have that discussion after they honor my time and energy and the content that I created.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking. If there's specific things in the video that I am talking about, things that I think are important, things that most people don't even know exist. And instead of people seeing that stuff and saying, wow, damn, I guess both sides do it, they say, well, what about Trump? Instead of saying, wow, damn, I guess the media lied to me, they say, well, what about Trump? Instead of saying, damn, I guess the Democrats lied to me. Why didn't Nancy Pelosi give them the troops? Why didn't the chief of police get the help when he requested it 6 times? Damn, instead of saying that, they say, well, what about Trump? It's like, if they would just talk about the conversation, we could pivot to whatever you want after that. I'm not a defender of Trump. I like Trump. But that doesn't mean that I'm a defender of Trump. I don't think anybody is perfect. There's nobody I want to be but me. So there's no one I look up to in that way to say that person is infallible. There's plenty of things that's wrong with the man. I just don't think like his the way that he speaks. People say that it's not politically, or they say that it's not presidential. That turns a large portion of people off. It doesn't turn me off. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm tired of presidents speaking presidentially. It's fake.
Right. Okay. I actually agree with that. One of my criticisms of Trump is not really his discourse. In the beginning, when he first ran, I was like, what the fuck? But after a while, I was like, all right, you know what? Like, I talk crazy. We all talk crazy. The age of social media, we talk reckless. So it's kind of like weird to kind of get on a high horse about the way people talk. So I got over the whole Trump is an asshole thing pretty quickly. My issue is with some of the blatant lies, because you were just talking about lies when it comes to the
Mhm.
left. And so I agree with you, because a lot of the media on the left, CNN especially, I hate, because
Okay.
they are extremely dishonest, and they like to tell stories without context.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I take fault with you though as
Mhm.
well, because
I knew you was
some of
going
the
there.
some of the stories that you talk about,
Mm.
you'll be like, oh, these are valid questions, and they are, but missing the context, it creates a certain narrative. So for example,
Okay.
the JD Vance geese story in fucking Chicago and all that, the immigrants,
Okay.
right? That was a lie, right? Do we agree on that?
No,
We don't agree on that.
no one knows if it was a lie or the truth. If it's a lie, then you have to say that the people who said it were lying.
Okay,
That's it.
but the person who said it, JD Vance, said he was
There
lying.
wasn't only one person that said it though.
No, I'm not saying that only one person said it, but I'm saying JD Vance, the
Okay.
vice president of the United States, pushed that story, and he said it was a lie.
Okay.
So my issue is, when you go and you post that story,
Mm-hmm.
or you posted that one reel where you're talking about that,
Mm-hmm.
why is there not a follow-up where you address the fact that, okay, this was actually an instance where this side lied? It doesn't
What
mean that
what
you're
was
no
the
longer
what
go
was the
ahead.
point of that post? What was the point of the post?
Of which one? Because you made a couple in regards
I
to that
made
story.
two. I made two to about the Haitian cats thing. The
Yeah.
the first one was it was just the article with just JD Vance.
Yes.
That's yeah. So what was the point of that post?
Of the one with just the article.
No,
Uh.
well, it wasn't. It started off with the article, but then
Uh.
it ends with the video. It ends with the video. There's one where I talk about. There's one with the Haitian lady,
Uh.
and I'm going through the comments of that TikTok, and there's the one that was before that
Where
where I'm
you're
talking about.
like showing the video of like the people at city council and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So what I got from, sometimes I'm not entirely sure what your points are,
Okay.
but in that one, I think I what I gathered was that some people were basically saying the story was complete bullshit and made up, and
Mm.
then and what you were trying to say was that the source of that story came from a real place, basically, like those people at City Hall who were, I guess, testifying or eyewitness, whatever accounts of it,
Mm.
that those were the source of that story, hence
Specifically
making
the
the
black guy.
story right.
Yeah,
Okay,
specifically the black guy.
but why does that the black guy have any like specific credibility?
Because when it comes to the migrant crisis, it seems that because they're in all the major cities, and the major cities are mostly black in the on the East Coast. So in those major cities, the people that are complaining about the migrants the most are black people in the inner city.
Okay.
But because they have made that migrant thing a race issue, those people are being ignored. So instead of somebody saying, hey, this black guy at the city council meeting is saying Haitians are eating cats, they're saying JD Vance, Trump. So instead of saying JD Vance is reciting a conspiracy theory, whatever you want to say from this black guy, they're just making it about race. So that was the point of the video. You can go back and watch it. That's what I say at the end.
Right. I mean, okay, fair enough, but I don't think the fact that it was a black guy saying it takes away from the racism of saying that Haitian immigrants are eating people's pets.
Because
Like,
why?
just because a black
Why
dude,
is it racist to say that?
it because it, first of all, it's building off of a stereotype, the idea that Haitian people are eating domestic animals,
Do
and then
people
on,
eat domestic
huh?
animals? Do people eat domestic animals?
Some people, I'm sure, do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying that about Koreans in our communities forever.
Yeah, but but if it's true, then it's valid. If
We don't know
right?
if it's do. I
But
don't.
wait. When it's not true, if we don't know that it's true and we're saying that, then it's not valid. Like if I go to a Korean restaurant and I'm like, oh, they must be serving dog meat,
Yeah,
that's racist,
that's not.
right?
That's not
Like that's
racist. It's based
how is
off of
that not?
something.
Oh, brother,
It's
come on.
based off that. That doesn't make it racist because it's based off of something. If you're saying that as an insult, yes. If you're saying that in all actuality, that's a different thing. Like there's people who.
Wait. But it is though, because I'm taking a stereotype that applies specifically to that race, and
Mm,
I am now projecting it onto everybody belongs in that group
Yeah,
of in that racial
that's
group. That's
that's how
racism.
people think. It's so that you can think quicker instead of having to analyze every individual person. You start with the generality and then you work your way into the specificities. That's how it
Right,
works.
right.
Yeah.
But if you jump past the specificity and go right into assuming that every member of a group fits into your stereotype, that is an expression of racism.
Yeah, you don't know until you know. That's the
Correct.
problem with it. Yeah.
Right. So it's one thing to say, "Oh, I'm not sure if I want to go to this Korean restaurant because I've heard that they be serving dogs
Hmm.
at some of them."
Yeah.
I don't think that's racist. But if I go to a Korean restaurant, I'm like, "They got dog here." That's
That's ignorant.
right. But it's not just ignorance though. It's racism. You see
Okay.
what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
I mean, we
I
can
think
disagree on that. We can disagree on that.
I
But
think our definition is going to be
yeah,
different. Yeah.
that's fair. We can disagree on that. We can move past that because I don't think it's necessarily
Yeah. True. True.
a huge
Yeah.
disagreement. But what were we talking about before that? I can't bring up my notes because I'm on my phone, so I have to use my memory
JD
now.
Vance.
Ah,
JD
yes.
Vance.
Okay, so
And
in
we still got to
regards
get
to
to the
that,
Elon.
yeah, we do. Okay, let's do the JD Vance thing real quick and get to Elon because I don't want to take up your
No,
whole live time.
you good. You good.
Um,
We got an
so
hour.
so the JD Vance story, when he went on afterwards to say that it was not true and it wasn't, and that he what did he say? He said, if I have to make up stories to get the American people to start paying attention to the issues, the
Mm-hmm.
issue here being immigration,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what I'll do. Now, be honest. Be honest, 100 Day.
All right.
If Kamala
Mm-hmm.
Harris had straight up lied about some shit, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's examples of her lying, but pick one.
Yeah, you
If
said
she
if.
had done that, yeah, I'm not saying if like it never happened.
No,
I'm just saying in this
yeah, I got
hypothetical, if she did that,
it. Mhm.
and then her response was, if I gotta lie to get people to start paying attention, and that's what I'm gonna do, would you be okay with that, brother?
Well, if I would have looked into it and saw that issue, I would have made the same video about Kamala in that sense. If she's saying that she was lying to get people to pay attention to the issue, if it didn't work, it was bad. So JD Vance situation, it didn't work. It backfired.
Wait, so
Yeah,
it's only
that was bad.
bad because it didn't work?
Yeah, it's bad because it didn't work. This is what you have to understand. We're talking about politics, bro. My entire page the last couple of months have been about Democrat lies. That's politics. Those lies worked. Whether they were
Okay.
based on truth, they fucking worked, right? People in my comments attacking me to this day because those lies worked. So
But
if that
do you
lie
think
would
those
have
lies were bad though, even though they
no,
worked?
I don't think the lies were bad. I don't think the lies were bad. In
Okay.
2020, people were talking about Haitians eating cats. It wasn't bad. That's why I posted that other video, because people weren't in the comments like, "Oh my God, this is racist. This is politically." They weren't like that. They were like,
Hmm.
"Wow, your Creole is so good." That's what they were saying in the comments. Wow, your Creole is so good. Your Creole is so
That
good.
that's a fair point. But let me ask you a question. Do you think that the context of just simply talking about Haitians eating animals, just in a vacuum, versus talking about it in the context of I guess cracking down on immigration, don't you think that those things are a bit different as far as like magnitude, consequence,
They're
context, and
different.
all that?
They're different when people make the issue about racism as opposed to, yeah, we did import 20,000 Haitian migrants into a community of 60,000 people. I can see why people would have a problem with that. That's an honest discussion. So instead of it
Yeah.
being, let's make this a race issue, let's beat the other party down, let's use this as a gotcha moment to basically muddy the waters, which didn't work. It didn't work.
Right. I agree.
Instead of actually focusing on the people who were complaining about the issue, they made that shit about race.
Right.
That's the issue. That's the problem. Is that
Right.
one
And I agree. I do agree that the focus on the racism instead of the conversation about immigration and the crisis, I guess, that was created with all those immigrants coming to that place, I think that that is a mistake. And I shit on people on the left all the time for jumping right to racism instead of having the conversation. But I do think that the lie and the specifically targeting Haitian immigrants does have a racial component, and I don't think that was a mistake, because even when it came to identifying whether or not it was real, you had people saying, "Oh, well, there's body cam footage," and then they showed footage of a black woman getting arrested for eating somebody's cat. Well,
Yeah,
guess what?
that shit
She
was
was
crazy.
an Ohio native. She wasn't even a Haitian immigrant.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yes, she was eating cats. So yes, somebody in Ohio is eating cats, but it's not Haitian immigrants. You see what I'm saying? So
Right,
so
right.
that's
Well, we
why I
don't
think that
know. We don't know. Because the
well,
thing
okay,
is,
we can say we don't know, but I'm saying that there wasn't enough any evidence
there was
to
evidence,
support.
not of cats. There was evidence of hate. There was, let me put it this way. There was a police call, a 911 call that was recorded of a man saying, "I'm following this car. They just took some geese out the park." He
Right.
said, "They've been taking all the geese. I'm trying to follow them. I don't have the whole plate,
Right.
but I got the last four." You know, and
But
it's
was
like,
it a Haitian immigrant?
we don't know. There was no investigation.
But if you don't know, then how can you say that it was Haitian immigrant?
Because you don't know. That's the point. No one can say it's been debunked because no one has actually gone to look.
I don't know,
that's
honey.
the thing.
This
It's either
logic don't really sound too good, because what if I say you murdered somebody and you're like, "No, I didn't," and I'm like, "Well, we don't know if you murdered somebody or not." Like,
well, in the court of law, I think the prosecutors have the burden of proof of
I'm
something.
not talking about law. I'm just saying in general. If I make an accusation and then I'm called to substantiate that accusation, and then I go, "Well, I can't substantiate it, but
Who
maybe you did, maybe you didn't."
did the police ever investigate that license plate? We don't know. That's the point. We had the government officials of that town saying, "That's not happening here. There's never been any reports." And then they're like, "Okay, well, there were some reports. We're investigating them." And then nothing. That's the point. Why would they want
But there was
to have that?
nothing. But there was nothing because there was no evidence that any of those stories were true.
What
Just like
evidence
there
do
was
you
no.
find of it? What evidence do you find of someone eating cats? What is the evidence? How do you investigate that? Do you have to catch them in a cat sting to catch them in the act of eating it? Or do you ask the people of the community, "Have you seen this happen?" And then when you ask them and they say yes, do you believe them? Or do they have to be black to be believed?
But again, how
Or
do
do
we
we
know
have
that
to
the
ask the
people eating
question?
the
Or
cats?
do we have to ask the question, do Haitians eat cats? That's the question we have to ask. Let's set a baseline first. Do they eat cats?
I don't know, man.
And then you do your research on if they do or not. And then you find out that the people that typically eat cats in that culture are the ones who drink heavy. And then you ask yourself, are there any alcoholics in that community? Because maybe they're eating a cat or two, because that's their belief, their culture. These are people that I understand now don't assimilate when they move to a place. They bring their culture with them. So if those people, if those people, if that is a part of their culture, just like we have a part of our culture where people do things that we don't like, right? We don't import that culture everywhere, but we don't have we have a part of our, like I bring up the chitlins thing. Everybody don't eat chitlins. That is, it's like if somebody who didn't know what chitlins was, they heard about chitlins, that shit would sound disgusting to them. They'd be like, "You eat pig intestines? When you clean it, it smells like shit, and you still eat it?" It's like, I don't, no, I don't eat that shit. It's a small segment of my community that eats that shit. We all don't eat shit. It's like that same thing. The people who eat cats in the Haitian community are the ones who are heavy drinkers, because they say the cat meat withdraws the alcohol from their body.
Wait, but
this is Haitian saying this.
Okay, but if that's the case, that it's a small section, a small portion of some Haitian people that do this, why bring up that in the context of the general immigration conversation?
Because the point was to set the baseline. Do Haitians even eat cats? If they don't eat cats, then it's a moot fucking point. But if we can establish that they do, then there is a bit of credibility to someone saying, "Hey, I saw that."
I mean, it's not that there's credibility, it's that there's a possibility that they're actually telling the truth.
Yeah, I mean, because all we have is their word. We're not going to catch a Haitian in the middle of eating a cat. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, but why not? Because they caught an Ohio woman eating a cat.
She was off her shit.
Right. But I'm saying, like, they caught somebody eating a cat. But what I'm saying is they caught somebody eating cats in Ohio. It just wasn't a Haitian woman.
Yeah,
so what I'm saying is,
for the politics shit, if I'm not mistaken. I think
but
that
how
was
come
before
none? Yeah, but how come none of the narrative was black women in Ohio are eating cats? Because there was actual evidence of a black woman eating cats in Ohio. So why wasn't a narrative around that fact created, and instead a narrative around an assumption created.
It's not a narrative around an assumption. It's a part of their culture. Haitians themselves will tell you this. Not every Haitian knows this, but Haitians themselves will tell you this, that a segment of their culture does do that. Some for poverty and some for the other reason. The girl in the video, the woman in the video says, I'm going to try it. It's something they do in the countryside. I haven't tried it yet, but I heard it tastes like chicken. It's a real thing. So
I'm not saying that it's not a real thing, but what I'm saying is whether
but we don't
or not
have that baseline for black women. We don't have that baseline for black women. That's not what black women eat. So no one would start a rumor that black women are eating cats with one black woman eating a cat. You find one black woman eating a cat, you think she's crazy. Not that it's a new trend. If it's a part of if you catch I don't mean no offense to any Korean people, if you catch a Korean person eating a dog, you wouldn't say, oh, it's just one. You would say, oh, that's what they do. That you see what I'm trying to say?
Right.
Not I'm trying to be offensive to anybody.
No,
I'm just speaking bluntly.
I hear you, and I would honestly think that this entire argument held some water if there was at least one piece of concrete evidence that a Haitian immigrant in Ohio was eating cats. Just one, just a single one. Eyewitness accounts and city council testimonies, that's not enough for me, because I can go to city council right now and say that I saw a duck fucking a chicken, and and then boom, now I have a story. But that doesn't mean that it's true.
I don't know if they'd be as concerned about that, but
they wouldn't. But I'm saying, but you see what I'm saying? So like, I just want to see evidence for some of these claims, because taking what you just said and the logic that you just said of, well, we don't know if it's true or not. We don't know. That story, J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, they didn't go on TV and say, well, we don't know whether or not Haitians are eating dogs. True. That's not what they said.
That's true.
They said that they are. So to then counter that with, well, we don't know for sure, I just find that to be a cop-out. I find that to be like extremely dishonest. And it's similar to what was done with the election. There was not 2024, 2020. It was, well, they stole the election. There was election fraud. Okay, well, where's the evidence? Well, turns out there wasn't any. They had 30-something plus court cases.
That were never heard. They were never heard.
No, Honey Days. Plenty of them were heard.
Just look it up, brother. None of the cases that Trump presented were actually heard.
They were thrown out immediately off
for
of
standing.
Yes.
For standing. Because you can't talk about injury before it occurs. It's a lack of standing. That's why they couldn't be heard. You can't talk about injury before it occurs. So if they're going to this thing talking about they were trying to present these cases, and the Supreme Court doesn't hear election cases at all, they said. When these people were presenting the evidence, they were thrown out for lack of standing because of the timing of the presenting of the court cases. That's why PA this election, didn't allow the voting to continue after Election Day. Those are one of the lawsuits that they had, but you couldn't hear those things at that time. They had to be tried during the 4 years.
Okay,
that's the reason that those
other
cases like
what about the other cases that were actually heard and thrown out?
Which cases about what topics?
Like the Dominion case.
The Dominion case against Fox and Sidney Powell.
The one against Rudy Giuliani, where he had to pay all that money for lying and saying it's my First Amendment right to lie.
The same people that prosecuted them are the same people who said that those voting machines were unsecure. That's why I posted the HBO.
So the answer to that
that's why I posted the I didn't finish it. That's why I posted the HBO documentary with all those clips as well, where you see Kamala Harris saying, yeah, we actually have a convention where we bringing people to hack these very machines. When the narrative was, it was Russian interference. That was the point of me showing that, was the fact that on this side, they were literally trying to make you believe that the 2020 election was not going to be secure because of Russian interference, saying that these machines, the documentary shows the machines being hooked up to the internet. The documentary shows every machine being hacked. It shows that the company that was hacked in the first documentary was then sold to Dominion. And then the guy in the documentary says Dominion has all these insecurities. They were saying it. They weren't saying, they're not saying anything different. The point is one side
they were saying that it's possible versus the other side was saying that it happened.
Which one is not defamation? Because in the documentary, in the documentary,
Mm-hmm.
the company before they switched to Dominion were trying to put that guy through the political ringer or the persecution ringer as well. And then they stopped after 2 years and just sold the brand. How is that supposed to give anybody confidence? If that side was saying that it's not confident, and they can make a whole documentary about it on a very large cable network or whatever they are, but when this side says it, they're conspiracy theories. It's
Well,
weird.
because again, one side was saying that it's a thing that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
The other side was saying that it was done.
Yeah. So how do we investigate to find out? If one side saying it can be
Evidence. We
done,
use evidence. We use
yeah.
evidence.
So did you
And
know
what the
that
Trump
people
people did
actually,
was that when it came
you
to
know
the
that
evidence,
I know this person has no credibility to you, but people like the My Pillow guy have evidence. They've actually gone and done the audits and stuff. Like they've actually gone and looked at the videos of every ballot box. They've looked at that to see people stuffing ballots in the ballot boxes as well at a late time at night. They've done that as well.
but
That's on
they
2000.
investigated that
That's
too, though.
they didn't investigate it, brother.
Bro,
Because
that
if they
video,
investigated, who were the people stuffing the ballots then, and why, and which locations?
they were officials working at the fucking ballot boxes,
Of
at the
course,
ballot
they were
offices.
officials working at the ballot box. How come when the one guy was getting recorded, he got mad and left?
What one guy?
Instead of
I don't know who you're talking about.
instead of stuffing the, that's what I'm saying. You don't know the investigation because you haven't watched the
Wait,
actual video.
wait. Stop.
I'm talking about
I,
videos of the ballot boxes have to have 24-hour CCTV on them. Some
yes.
of them don't, but the majority of them do. Someone
Okay.
has gone through all of that footage and found the irregularities in the person who's coming back and forth stuffing the ballots in the boxes and stuff.
From what I recall, that irregularity in those videos was actually investigated. From what I recall. Huh?
By who? What did they find?
They found that there was nothing wrong with what happened.
Because the only people that I saw investigated had to pay their own money to do it.
No,
they were
because
showing
again,
people. They were showing it's in a documentary called 2000 Mules.
Now we're going down. We're going down the 2020 ballot box rabbit hole. And that's fine. But like,
one second,
it's
my feed, brother. It's my feed. One second. Let me just plug this real quick. Thank you.
Plug.
The documentary is called 2000 Mules. If anybody would like to check it out and see it for yourself, don't take my word for it. Please check it out for yourself. I would tell you where to watch it, but it costs money. That's the thing I don't like about this information. Is it's behind a paywall. The person that disagrees with that would never pay the money to see that shit. But it's a documentary called 2000 Mules. If you can find it,
why would it be behind a paywall if it's like so strong and true?
That's my point about it as well. I would think so too. But I also know that you spend money to make movies, and people charge you money to go and see a movie about entertainment. They charge you money to go to a college and get an education. So I can't be mad at these people for charging a nominal amount of money, really. But I think it is a barrier of entry for the people that need the information the most. But what were you saying?
The whole Dominion thing, I don't have all my data here to have the full debate on the back and forth. So I will concede whatever part of that for now. We can have that conversation at a later date.
Okay.
I want to move on to Elon because I got to go soon.
Okay.
But I would actually like to have a conversation on the Dominion voting stuff at a later time.
Me too.
When I have all the information in front of me so that we can have a real discussion about it because
that
we
give me something to look
disagree on the
into,
facts.
actually. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so going to the Elon thing now.
Okay, Elon is Elon. All right, say it again. I'm sorry because I wrote it down, but it's in shorthand.
No worries. Basically, the question was, if this were Joe Biden's administration and he were to, or actually, let's take the analogy even further. If Jack Dorsey back in 2016, when he still was running Twitter, was single-handedly and directly and openly pushing propaganda to get Joe Biden or whoever the leftist candidate was elected, then after they were elected, was appointed to a new position in the government where he was able to oversee which departments of the government got funding and which ones didn't, was able to also dictate which departments of the government could regulate his businesses. Would we all be sitting here saying that that was fine? Would you be sitting here saying that that was fine?
No, I wouldn't.
Would you call it corruption?
Yes, I would.
Okay. So my
But
next
the
question is.
difference.
My next
Hold up.
question is.
Hold up. Hold up.
Okay.
Please hold it. Write it down.
I mean, that was just a yes or no question. So I wanted to ask the next question.
Well, I would like to speak
Okay.
on that because there's a
Go
difference to me.
Okay.
One, Jack Dorsey was a part of Joe Biden's administration, whether he wants to admit it or not. I mean, the fact that he hit the Hunter Biden story, the fact that he suspended Kelly McEnany, I can't remember her name, but for retweeting it, I think like the White House press secretary, yeah, her joint was shut down, and the New York Post was shut down, and they were working for the Joe Biden the thing. And then when
that sounds cute, but that's not. He wasn't actually.
Okay,
Right?
Like, if you said
he wasn't.
hold on, let me finish.
He wasn't actually appointed to a position in the government.
He doesn't have to be, but okay.
But he's not. Wait.
Because I'm getting to the part.
Okay.
You're saying first before he's appointed, right? You're saying before he's appointed. So before he's appointed, he does the dirty work, and then Joe Biden wins, and then he's supposed to get appointed, right? The dirty work was hiding the story. That's my point. Hiding the story, stopping an actual news network from having a social media platform. That is that's same thing with Zuckerberg saying that the Biden-Harris administration and the FBI pressured him on COVID disinformation and stuff like that. They're working with the government. Okay. So if they would have gotten a job afterwards, I would have been like, seems right. I wouldn't have liked it, just like I didn't like stories not being promoted on Twitter and shit that they thought was misinformation.
But
I didn't like that either.
Corruption, correct?
But I also believe that Jack Dorsey, all he did, from what I understand, he might have done other things. All he did was start a social network. Great social network. I'm on there to this day. But he did not start a company that allows a fucking rocket to go up in the air and come back down and land on a chopstick. He didn't do that. So I don't necessarily trust him with all the business shit. I do trust Elon, the person that says, don't pay me no money until I make the company this much money. And now he made that much money and they owe that man like 56 mil. That's the person that I trust with business.
So corruption for you is determined based on whether or not you trust the person.
No. Corruption is the fact that these people are working behind the scenes with the government, with the FBI, and with the Biden administration.
Okay, so then my next question was Elon purchasing Twitter and using it as a propaganda arm to get Donald Trump elected and then leverage that to get a position in the government where he's able to determine things that will make him more money? Is that corruption?
You're saying that that's what he did?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess we kind of disagree on that, but no, I wouldn't call that. But no, to your point, no, I wouldn't call that corruption. I don't think that he used Twitter.
Why is that not corruption?
First, I don't think that he used Twitter as a propaganda arm for Donald Trump.
Really?
It's like it's a very out of touch way to think about the America right now.
So when he reappropriated the @America handle and then used it to push out Trump propaganda, that wasn't him.
I'm sorry.
Corrupt.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was reading the comments. Say it again.
So when he bought Twitter, right, he then was able to alter Twitter to his liking. He started making his posts more visible than they were previously, which fair enough. He's the CEO. He can do what he wants. Yeah. Fair enough. But by doing that, he was also able to then get more exposure to him retweeting conspiracies, propaganda, whatever it is, right? Okay. The right-wing propaganda. He also reappropriated the @America handle and used it to push out Trump content.
Okay.
So that counts as using Twitter as a propaganda arm. Yes or no?
But people who disagree are also on Twitter. I don't understand. I've never saw anything from the America page. I've saw things from Elon Musk page because he reposted me, but I haven't seen anything from Elon Musk. Cool. I see things from people like Matt Walsh, even though I don't follow him.
Right,
but my Twitter is like, it's dirty. So I see.
Right, okay, but that doesn't answer my question. That he did those things. That happened.
Okay.
That was openly done.
Okay.
He even literally openly endorsed Trump, which again, that's his right, but he single-handedly purchased Twitter and then used it to do that.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, how is that not corruption if he's able to then leverage a government position out of that. You just said that Jack Dorsey doing the same thing or less is corruption. So
Yeah,
how is this
corrupt
not?
brother. Come on, man. Come on.
No,
We
seriously.
need the
I want an answer to this.
seriously. We need the intellectual honesty, bro. What I said,
I'm here for
because
it.
one thing I don't like is when I'm having these conversations with somebody recites my point the way I didn't say it. The corruption,
Okay.
the corruption and the propaganda was him hiding stories. Remember, I said that they say that according to, I think, Rasmussen and one of them people that do the polls, if the story about Hunter Biden would not have been hidden, Joe Biden would have lost the election. That's corruption to me. That's the point that I'm making, brother. I don't give a fuck. I don't
how
give a
long was
fuck
the
if
Joe
the man,
how
listen to
long
me,
was
listen
the
to me,
Hunter Biden
listen to
laptop
me.
story hidden
I
for?
don't give a, listen, we can disagree on that. You can look that up on your own. That's
Okay.
what they say.
Okay.
All right. But
Okay.
I don't give a fuck if Jack Dorsey would have gotten hired in his administration. I don't care. What I care about is the fact that he had the power to stop a news platform and the press secretary from showing the story. I give a fuck that social media was allowed to remove a sitting president and we just said that shit is okay. To me, that's
Okay,
corruption.
so that's corruption.
To me, that's
but
corruption.
adjusting the visibility of posts
It's
that
your
are
site.
for
It's your
again,
site. He could do
right? I
whatever the
know
fuck
it.
he wants to
Wait.
do.
Honey Babe, you're making my
Just
point.
listen,
You're making my oh, brother. Okay. I'm
like, brother.
understanding now because it's unraveling. It's unraveling now,
Okay.
but I'm understanding
Okay.
because he purchased Twitter so
He
that he
could do
could
what he
use it.
wants, brother. He can do what
Right.
he wants. Just like
He
when all of
can.
those same people,
He can
just
do
like when
what
all
he
of those
wants.
same, just like when all of the CEOs of those same platforms went before Congress, the problem was, are you private or are you a publisher or something like that? Can we tell you what to do or can we not? It's private. Y'all get to do what y'all want to do. It's Twitter. It's Twitter. That's why they made Threads. That's why they have Blue Sky. Because Twitter was necessary because there was no other place for people who have these opposing opinions to go. Think about this, right? Somebody made a real interesting point. To some people, misgendering is saying, if like, say, for example, if you was to identify as a she, misgendering would be to call you a he. But to other people, misgendering is calling a he a she.
That's cool.
Which
I
platform?
don't give a fuck about misgendering, to be honest.
No,
That's
you're
not
not
one of the
listening
things
to
I
me.
care
You're not.
about.
Yeah, you need to listen to me. Actually,
No,
the point
because
that I'm
you're yapping
making,
about stuff
the
that's
point that I'm
not
making.
really
But if you
relevant.
allow me
But
to
okay,
make my actual
go
point,
ahead.
the point that I'm making is, where do you go to say I believe that a he is a he? Where do you go when that is allowed? Where is that not demoted as far as visibility? Where does that happen?
I don't know.
That's my point, brother. That's my
What do you
point.
mean? What's your
If
point? What are you
so
talking about?
so if Elon wants to elevate his voice on his platform, when the other platforms are also using a way to demote other people's voices, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you're saying that when other people do it, it's corrupt.
No, that's brother.
No, you're
No,
not.
no.
Okay.
What I said
Okay.
was when they blocked the story about Hunter Biden's laptop, that was corruption, brother. That's what I
So
said.
blocking a story is corruption. Upping the visibility of one story versus another story isn't. Is that what we're saying?
I'm saying that on a platform that you own, you can do what you want to do.
No. Can you answer the question, brother? You just
I
said
did.
that
I did.
blocking the story was corruption.
Yeah.
So I'm asking
brother.
Yeah,
Blocking a story
I
that
agree.
benefits
Look,
your
I'm not
political
disagreeing.
candidate.
Yes.
Blocking a story that benefits your political
Yes.
candidate is corruption, bro.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
using your platform.
But upping and making more visible a story that benefits your
The owner
political candidate
of the
isn't
website,
corruption. Isn't corruption.
the owner of the website giving his platform, his page more visibility.
Wasn't Jack Dorsey in control of Twitter at the
Yeah.
time? So
Was he upping his page or
what?
was he downing the New York Post?
So that's what I'm asking you. So downing something, corruption. Upping your own stuff while downing other stuff, not corruption. Right?
Is Elon downing? What is Elon downing?
What do you mean? He's literally blocked profiles from posting stuff that he doesn't like. The Elon Musk jet thing, he blocked. And again, there's probably plenty of stuff that we don't even know about because how would we know? It's his platform.
Yeah, because no one's reported on it to let you know. That's why, because it wasn't reported on any of these platforms that you follow. That's why you don't know. You only know the other thing that you was just talking about.
Right, but
But you don't know the Hunter Biden laptop story was blocked because the media said the last time this happened, the last time we reported evenly, when we allowed the media to report on Hillary's emails, they say that might have cost her the election. So this time, when that story comes out right at the end, just like the email thing did, right at the end, right before the election, when that comes out, they block it. It's blocked on all platforms. The FBI says it's Russian disinformation, that we know is Russian disinformation. All of the news says we have how many so-and-so experts, they give it a number amount all the time. We have 32 experts saying that it's Russian disinformation just to find out it's true. That's corruption.
Okay.
That's
But
corruption.
it's not corruption for you to buy the biggest platform, social media platform in the world, and use it to push propaganda for your candidate, and then leverage that into a position in the government, right? Yes or no?
I think that's
Can you just give me a yes or no? Because I gotta go soon.
I did already, brother. We asked this question 4 or 5
no,
times already.
No? So no?
I've already said that. No.
Okay. I'm just making I just want to make sure that we understand each other, because up until this point I was like, well, maybe there's something I'm not understanding, but there isn't anything I'm not understanding. It's just it is just a double standard, which is fine. So yeah, this was a good talk, 100 days. I do look forward to having a Dominion conversation in the future, where we can get more into the facts. But I did just want to I did just want to have you.
I said,
and anything else.
Any other thing.
I did just want to be able to get an opportunity to ask you that straight up, because I've been asking a bunch of my Trump supporting friends the same question about the Elon thing, and a lot of them have dodged it. At least you acknowledge that it is a double standard, so I will give you respect for that.
Okay, brother. I appreciate you
getting
on here and talking with me.
Yes, sir.
I thought it was going to be a bit more yelling and name calling. I'm surprised. I appreciate it.
No, man, look, I'm like you.
It's different than the comments.
I'm intellectually honest. Some of the comments. Because I noticed, you know what it is? I noticed that when I gave long comments where I was addressing all the points, I got ignored. You didn't say shit to me. And most of the people kind of just skipped over. That's fair. That's fair.
I'm talking to like 100 people at one time. I can't read it.
Again, I'm not mad at you for not reading every comment, or especially a paragraph of comments. But I have to leave a paragraph when you make a 5-minute video, and there's a lot of stuff I have to address.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, but those comments got ignored. So I was like, you know what? If I talk my shit, these motherfuckers will respond, and then maybe I can get some points off in the back and forth there. That was the tactic. Okay. But as far as having like a real conversation, I'm always up for a real conversation. I'm always up for intellectual honesty. Even if we disagree on stuff, which we obviously still do, I do respect the fact that you had the conversation with me. So I appreciate that. And I do look forward to having some more in the future when we can be a little more like prepared and like, I guess, more formal format.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with that.
For sure. All right, man. Well, enjoy the rest of your live. I'll still watch, but I gotta get going and drop some guys off. Right. I got a car full of dudes listening to me fucking yell at my phone for the last half hour. They're ready to go. I was like, I gotta get this off, man. I've been waiting for this.
No, I feel you.
I can't miss the opportunity. But all right, brother.
For you, bro.
I appreciate that. But I'll see you in the comment section.
All right.
All right, man.
All right. You too.